Back here on RossLong.Info and KJagRadio.com, I'm Jiggy Jag, Jignacious Jigway, out here at the McPherson Opera House in downtown McPherson, Kansas. I want to thank John Holochek, who seems to be just walking by there. There he is. I want to thank John. I want to thank the good folks for letting us come out and do a great interview tonight. We're going to go chat with John McEuen from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And thanks to Ross Long for camera work, and thanks for you for watching here on KJagRadio.com. From 1966 until now, why has your guys' music just endured? Everybody just loves you guys to death.
You know, I don't think the Dirt Band knows why people like the music for such a long period. We have people telling us, younger people that are in their 20s, well, I was growing up and my parents played your music all the time. And in the last few years, we've had people saying, well, I'm only 21, and when I was growing up, my grandparents played your music all the time when I would go visit, and I wanted to take some of it home. If there's any one particular reason, I don't know if there is one, but it's a combination of things like persistence. Nobody could find another job, maybe. And the music evolved and changed, starting as a jug band and having semi-pop records, and then kind of Cajun rock, and then recapturing some classic rock and roll songs, like when we did Rave On or Honky Tonkin, or let's see, Hey Good Lookin', an old Hank Williams song in the 70s with Linda Ronstadt. And that might be the reason, a certain variety. And then the Circle Be Unbroken project is kind of extra credit over here. Yeah.
Now, you guys, tell me a little bit about this Grammy Award-winning Another Country that you guys did in '92 with the Chieftains, the Irish.
You have to ask somebody else that question. I wasn't there.
I love that. Now, there's a lot of bands these days that don't get a lot of respect out of the new guys, but Rascal Flatts in 2004 did a cover of one of your tunes. How does it make you guys feel that a lot of them modern, whether it be pop, country, whatever, are paying homage to you guys?
They weren't necessarily paying homage to do Broken Road. They were taking a good song and using the power of their position in the business, which the Dirt Band didn't have, because there comes a certain time when certain stations don't play people over 50 years old. Yeah. And that is a nature of pop music. It works with a younger audience often to play what's popular. As an example, Vince Gill at a dinner last year was talking about, yeah, I wish I could get airplay on my new stuff, but they just play me on the recurrent and classic stations, and the new stuff is better.
that's
so
strange.
Rascal Flatts comes along and takes a song that the Dirt Band had recorded that I think the group had its run on top 40 country radio, and they just didn't take to it.
Yeah. Well, in 2009, you guys released Speed of Life. It's 13 tracks. It's devoid of overproduction, and it's just some freewheeling studio stuff. Devoid of overproduction. You guys didn't do any over. It was just you guys in a studio just having a good time.
Most of the time, it was having a good time. Yeah, it was. Speed of Life was cut with everybody facing each other, tracking as many people as possible at the same time, so it would be like we were playing on stage. Yeah. And it was done in that fashion, more than, oh, it's Tuesday, let's do the snare drum, and on Wednesday we'll do one of the background vocals, and on Thursday we'll tune it. You know, didn't do that. So, yes, it was made along more the lines of the way we used to record. I think Speed of Life is a very decent album.
Now, a final question for you. I appreciate you doing this, by the way. This is an honor. Tell me about your best memory from being in the band ever, if there is one.
I would say
narrow it down to one.
It's very difficult to narrow it down to one particular memory. Yeah. You could go to my website, which is johnmcEuen.com, because there's stories there that talk about those memories, and a lot of them are Dirt Band oriented and some of them aren't. But if there was one particular memory in light of this week when Pete Anderson is joining us on Monday. Pete Anderson's from Latvia. I met him in 1977 when we played there. We were the first American band to go to Russia, doing 28 sold-out shows in venues that were anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
5 different venues, actually. I think the bike track was 5, the hockey rink was maybe 6. It was 4 to 6. But the one particular memory, because we didn't do just dirt band songs, we represented some other songs of American music, because nobody there knew a nitty-gritty dirt band from anything.
Yeah.
American music was fairly illegal. And we were an expression of the freedom of America. Now, one of the things that's 2 memories from that trip have to be told. One was the second day we were there, I'd come back to the hotel about midnight, and earlier that evening we'd sat in with the Soviet band that was playing in the hotel.
Yeah.
We didn't sit in, we took their instruments and we played 2 songs, one of them being Will the Circle Be Unbroken. 3-4 hours later, coming back from Red Square, I hear the strains of this music, and me and my buddy go looking for it, and it's the band in the broom closet that was their dressing room. Now keep in mind, their guitars had broken strings that had been tied. They had, their cymbals had tape on them because they'd been split. The Stratocaster guitar was a Czechoslovakian copy of a Japanese copy. And the instruments were hard to play, but we weren't at our finest that night. But they would play this tape. I didn't know they were recording. And then they'd rewind it. They'd play 3 minutes and they'd rewind it. They're talking and talking, and then play it again. They're listening. They'd stop it and they'd talk and chatter. I said, and I had a translator with us. I said, what did they talk? Oh no, they had somebody that spoke English. We can, and what are you talking about? We can hear the freedom of America in the way that you sing and play. Wow. We can hear how free you are with your music. We can hear it. And they got it more than we did in that regard. Because they were only allowed to play 1 American song a night, a couple of British. There's usually a KGB guy in the band that would report if the audience got too unruly.
Wow.
Things like that. Now keep in mind, Pete Anderson grew up loving American rockabilly music in Latvia. Yeah. The Soviet Union comes along and he starts a rockabilly band. He's told to quit. He plays a date. They say, no, quit doing that. Don't play so much American song. He goes and plays some other songs and throws in a couple too many, and they warn him again. It got to the point where they would beat him up after the concert or put him in jail. And they even harmed some, I'll just put it this way, harmed some of his family with threats of death. We're going to kill your child, whatever. It's just on and on. So he quit. Now, around the late 80s, things changed. The Dirt Band being the first American band to go to Russia, they thought that the door was going to start opening. Unfortunately, the Russians saw this freedom of an audience that they had never seen before. And the favorite memory I'm talking about is walking off stage in Leningrad, the 3rd city we played. The shows that were 14 through 19, I think they were, the shows, right in there. And Irina, the Communist Party member that was one of the ladies helping run the transportation and getting people back and forth. Well, you boys do well in the Baltic region and down in Georgia and Armenia, because Armenians are crazy anyway, but when we get to Leningrad, the audience will be more respectful and they will clap. And you will most likely get encore, yes, out of respect. But you won't see this crazy, it'll be Leningrad. Leningrad is Russia. Fast forward to Leningrad, a few weeks later. We're walking off stage after the 3rd encore. In that process, the first encore, girls had run up to the front of the stage and thrown flowers at Jeff. The second encore, 2 soldiers came up on stage and started hugging the guitar player. The 3rd encore, there's a girl up standing next there were people up at the front of the stage doing this.
Yeah.
It was illegal to stand up in a Soviet concert. We're walking on stage and we're going to go do another song because it's just obvious there's pandemonium out there. And the lady who had given the warning said, I walked by her, I says, Arena. And she goes, I never thought in Leningrad. Oh, in Leningrad. You know, I said, yeah, it's called American music. It's about freedom.
Well, this has truly been an honor. I appreciate it, sir. Go ahead and mention the website one more time where people can get some of the
NittyGritty.com. As far as website mentions, check them out. NittyGritty.com is for the Dirt Band. I have stuff on JohnMcEuen.com. My mother thought of that website name. I added .com, M-C-E-U-E-N. Or go to syndicatednews.net. Syndicatednews.net is a new site that I'm developing that has a lot of interviews with. I've interviewed people like John Oates and Crystal Gale and different people.
That's cool.
It's really a lot of fun, and there's an awful lot there.
We want to do John Oates, don't we?
Yes. Put us in touch. No.
Well, you can go to Syndicated News and download the interview and run it if you like.
There you go. Well, I appreciate it, sir. Thanks for doing
Yeah,
this.
it's an MP3 and you can download it and run it.
Thank you much. My thanks to John McEuen from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I also want to thank John Holacek and the good folks here at the McPherson Opera House. Find us on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Go back and watch all my other videos. And check out RossLong.Info and KJagRadio.com.